All right, so Todd, let's talk about. You've been at. We're about the same age, right? How old are you?
48.
Oh, I'm older. He's older than you, but
He's
not
older
me.
than me too.
I'm old.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So you started racing at the park, right?
Yeah, the park. So that was 1993. I think I started 92,
And like
93.
what? Streeters, figure eights. What we?
Strictly stock, which is like a street stock.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
How long did you do that?
3 years.
Did you win a lot?
I won every year I raced. My first year I won a race.
Wow.
But when I say we knew nothing, I mean, we went down the first day of the tire truck. We bought 4 left side tires because they were round, and that's where we started. You know, my father was a sponsor of a car. He kind of understood racing, what it looked like.
Yeah.
But it's a whole different deal when you have to actually know what to do on that.
Right.
And,
Right.
You know, so had to start from the bottom. I mean, didn't know anything.
So did you go like? So I know you as pro stock guy before the mods, but did you go late models in between?
We did the 3 years of street circuit stock. Then we went to the late models for 2. I won a championship the second year, and then moved up to the pro stocks.
So you learned that pretty quick then for
No,
not
it's
knowing
just,
much.
I
when you
was
show
very
up.
fortunate to be surrounded by the right people.
Yeah.
But you seem to do that pretty well.
Well, I'm actually still with the same. I'm around the same people now, which is
Yeah,
crazy,
you seem
know,
to do that.
But back when racing was back then, if you wanted to learn and get better, you had to go search for it. You had to go figure it out.
Right.
There was no dropping cars off to get them set up. That just wasn't out there.
Yeah.
So I just for some reason I don't even know what I enjoyed so much about racing. It was just the competition of it. I mean, I played all the other sports in school, but racing was just something that I don't know. I felt like I was doing it myself.
Yeah.
I don't even know the answer.
Right.
It just kind of took over my life.
You know, the funny part is the same thing kind of happened to me as Todd, right? Like, because I played basketball, everything coming up through.
Yeah.
And then I spent some time chasing ladies and partying.
Yep.
And
Really?
just a little bit, but not bad.
Okay.
And then racing just grabs a hold of your life.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens, but the same thing with me. It just ate me up, and here I am, 25 years later,
Right.
still doing it.
It's a sport. I mean, so I guess back in the early 90s, I mean, there was no kids racing. It was never a 16-year-old kid racing or 15-year-old kid or 14-year-old kid. Now, I mean, so for me, when I went to the racetrack the first time, I had just got my license, and that was like the first time I was even in the pits. Because back then, you didn't get in the pit area until you were 16.
Right.
It didn't care who you were.
Right.
There was no signing releases. There was not doing that kind of stuff. So, fortunate enough, my father was in the financial situation at the time that he could help me get started.
Before racing you.
Well, it was after that his business went sour, and it just and life kind of changed real quick. But it's a sport where you can't just go buy a basketball and start shooting.
Right.
So that's why a lot of people can't get into it without the right supporters, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that you just say, oh, I want to race.
Right.
I mean, some people just can't. So if you work on them, you can get the same enjoyment of being part of the team as you can driving, I guess.
So did you stay like loyal to, or did you stay racing just at the park until it closed?
The year before the park closed, I was given the opportunity. I met a guy that wanted to build a pro stock for Stafford. I had really never raced Stafford much. I raced a late model there maybe 6 or 7 times.
Yeah. You got a championship in the pro stocks too, didn't you?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
It was
I
just a
finished.
late
That's
model?
where my second in point streak started. Was I finished second there too?
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, we had a lot of good runs.
I forgot about that. Now that
Badass looking cars.
yeah.
Always that
dude.
car. I mean, that's one thing. I mean, this is probably 30 years later almost is the first time I've ever gone back to the racetrack with the same exact looking race car.
Dude,
I've always redone them every year because that's the fun part of it, right?
Yeah,
See what your
right.
car's going to look like when it's done.
Right.
But no, we went pro stock racing at Stafford. I think it was 99. I think it was the first year. Me and Doug Colby were rookies together.
Yeah. Were you bummed? I mean, I'm assuming like everybody else, you were bummed when the park closed.
Oh, it was crushing. I mean, it was. I can still, and it gives me goosebumps to think about it. That night was like you're at the morgue.
Yeah.
Like
So everybody knew that was the last night. There was no hope
Yeah,
in
you knew it all
salvaging it.
year. No,
Yeah.
it was
Like
you
early in
knew
the
all
year they
early
announced
in the
it.
year they announced it, and they said no, it's gonna be it. It's the last year, and everybody raced the last race. And at the end of the night, it was just like people were walking around like it was gonna change.
Right.
It's not gonna change.
Yeah. Right.
The people were pulling up blacktop on the start finish line.
Yeah.
And I remember it, obviously pretty good still. And that's why I just part of the social media thing and people type in and bad mouthing racetracks and this and that. Like if you ever become part of that situation and watch one close, you probably wouldn't type again. Or the
right.
world's different now. But
Right.
I mean, it was a lot of people's home. They're never raced again. They never went back to racetracks.
Yeah, right.
I mean, because just like say if the Speedbowl ever happened, I don't know, maybe 5% of people might go race somewhere else. The rest of them just aren't going to race anymore.
Yeah, I think it's at least when a track closed, at least half of those people, if not more,
Right.
will never race
again.
Right.
Never.
They'll be done.
Yep.
And sometimes more, like Danbury guys, right? Like Randy LaJoy, and who else? Right? Don
You're
LaJoy.
looking at me like I know.
No,
Listen,
but I
that was a
mean,
little bit
Don.
before my time.
That was 81. You're right. But like Don LaJoy and Randy LaJoy came to the Speedbowl the year after Danbury closed in 82. Don LaJoy retired after that. Randy LaJoy obviously went on to other things. And they have these legendary drivers like Chick Stockwell and Jimmy Smith and the other guys. But you never hear anybody say, now Danbury's a little different because it was kind of like a club. But
I mean, who came to Waterford? 4 or 5 guys, maybe.
Right.
You think about it. A couple
yeah,
of
they had those
modified
trucks.
guys.
They threw the trucks in with the late models. That lasted
Because
for like 2
unfortunately,
years.
a lot of guys had late models.
Yep.
They turned them into trucks at the Riverside, and then all of a sudden now they have no home
Right.
either.
Yeah.
It was kind of a
You got guys like Glenn Riley came. I liked
Glenn Riley.
Glenn Riley.
Yeah.
Nick Papacota's a Riverside
Is
guy.
he?
Yep.
I always liked Glenn Riley and Charles Riley.
Yeah,
they were
man.
great people. I
good
raced
people.
against them in the strictly stock. when I
Yeah,
first
he
started.
used
They
to
were
yell
good
at me
people.
because I roughed him up, and he was such a nice guy. I always felt bad.
Yeah.
He'd get out front. I'd be like, "Oh, Sean, be spotting for him." He's like, "Oh boy, here we go."
Dan Avery's a Riverside guy,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, he's a Summers guy, so he was the same guy, same town as me.
Yeah, right. Yep. There's still quite a few of them, but
That had to have been sad as hell.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and but over the years, you still watch, the Facebook pages or bring back Riverside Park or, Teddy Hebert's going to rebuild another one. It's not happening.
Yeah, I
it's
know.
not coming back.
Right.
So
Right.
just go support Stafford.
Yeah.
Go support Waterford. Go to the ones that are here. Don't wish upon the ones that you hope come back.
Yeah, right.
It's never going to
They're
happen.
never coming back.
There's never going to be a racetrack built anywhere.
Right.
It's just not,
I've always been told when they bought the when Six Flags became basically like a DC Comics type thing, and they had the Superman coasters, and they couldn't put the Superman coaster at Riverside Park because its height would interfere with Bradley Airport, unless because the racetrack was lower, they took out the racetrack and put the track there.
I mean, let's face it. You drive by there ain't no room for a racetrack there.
Yeah.
They got water parks now. They
Yeah.
got road-
Oh, yeah. Now
That's what they
forget about
bought.
it.
They bought an amusement park.
Right.
The racetrack, I mean, was
Yep.
a one night a week, week
Yeah.
at a 26
That's
weeks or
the-
whatever it was.
right, that's
it
always-
doesn't make you any money the whole
Right.
year. That amusement park makes you money every day. So
Right.
I mean, as far as business goes, you understand where they were at.
Yep.
They bought it. They did what they wanted, and I knew the Carroll was really, really close because actually, that's the whole Chassis Pro story thing. Butch Shea worked for Riverside, worked for the Carrolls that own them, own the park, and they had to do what they had to do with their family, right? They saw where they were at. They saw their maybe what they had for money to try to improve the place. They couldn't do it, so they sold it. And it is what it is today.
Right.
So it's unfortunately it's sad for a lot of people, but
Do you have? Would you not go there because of that? How is your feelings?
I wouldn't
that
go there.
way?
I wouldn't go to an amusement park. If it wasn't for that. I mean, I have been there.
You
I
have,
would-
right.
And
So
I wouldn't,
I'm just
I wouldn't
asking-
be mad at somebody. It's oh my god,
My cousin,
Yeah.
you went
my
to
cousin Richie
Riverside
will not step foot in that place.
That's what I'm saying. Would
But
you
what-
protest a place because of that? I don't know.
for what?
I don't. I've been there.
I don't know.
I've been there a ton of times. But
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
I really like roller coasters. So I mean, and I like amusement parks. So
I mean, it's not that place's fault, right? I don't know. I guess.
matter
Yeah.
of fact, when I go there, there's you walk. There, what was in front of the gates is relatively the same.
It's pretty much-
There's not a lot of
pretty
that
much the
that
same.
park that is the same. But when you walk in, up to where the track would be and a little bit to the right is kind of the same.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I still kind of brings me
I
back
tell my
as a
wife all the
kid.
time, the track used to be right
Right,
down here.
and I'm still like, oh yeah, I can still kind of you get the memories of it, but I only wish, and I guess I don't blame Six Flags because they didn't have any connection, but it'd be cool if you go there and there'd just be like a little thing there that said, Riverside Park was here, but
Yeah, I mean, I go there all the time because I'm a thrill seeker that loves roller coasters, right? But I feel like my dad doesn't really like it, and I have the feeling that it's because he resents him a little bit for getting rid of the racetrack.
The Batman ride
I
though was
honestly do.
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's such
right.
a great
I mean, roller
coaster.
coasters are cool. Yeah, we're gonna lose viewers with this video.
Oh no, but it's such a dude. My inside, the bottom of my testes tingle every time I get to the top of that thing, and it's about ready to drop. Man, I always get nervous.
No, I mean, I won't lie.
yeah.
Superman's a great ride. Like, that is
Yeah.
a great roller coaster. I will not lie. The drop
I mean,
is insane.
there's more sad things around that racetrack to see. Like if you go driving by there and you look to the left, I mean that was the 44 shop.
Oh,
Mario
right.
Fiore shop. That's
Yeah.
just gone now.
You mean where they
It's
have like
level.
the overflow parking and stuff there?
Well, it's actually a building, like literally right across the street from the entrance, like maybe down
Yeah.
one building.
Yep.
And it used to be a skinny little, like, long garage, like 4 or 5 different tenants. And that's, you always saw the 44 hauler back in there.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to go in that building, you sit there and you can have free coffee, because that's all I ever saw Mario do was have coffee. But it's like leveled now.
Yeah, that's
Where
sad.
where I worked on Pro Stocks at the Riverside shop, it's a warehouse now for stuffed animals.
Yeah, right.
Like it's that part of it's sad, but then again, there's also some awesome stuff that's now going on in today's world. So you can't sit there and cry, oh my God, I wish you could come back. Well,
Right.
Yeah.
just enjoy what's out there in front of you. You know?
When I went to, I was fortunate enough where I got the KGM video archives.
Yeah.
And so, Ken and Tanis lived right down the street from there,
Yep.
and she still does. And so she's giving me directions, right? Because, old people still love to give directions, even though it's right in their phone. But I just let them talk,
They all have flip phones.
Yeah, and she's like, so you're going to go down here, and then you drive by that Six Flag place, and then you stick your hand out the window, give him the bird, and then you keep going for like another half mile. That was part of her, that was part of her directions.
Used to be called TJ Sports Bar. So before anybody could watch it on their phone or anything like that, you'd race there at Riverside that night.
Yep.
Everybody would go over to TJ's after, because they had the replay on the TV. So if you had an incident with this guy or that guy, you could go up there and watch the race.
That's like state of the art.
And then
back
it was,
then,
and
man.
it was like, and they would replay, they'd rewind it if
Yeah.
there's something happening, rewind. And everybody
Yeah.
in the place would go crazy, and it was
Oh,
what
that
you
sounds like
get.
fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was. Listen, it was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that sounds
it'd
like
be a
fun.
blast, right?
I mean, probably too much fun for my
Yeah.
age at the time.
Yeah.
But it was a special place. It was like kind of a family atmosphere. You were parked
Yeah.
by division, which is something I think every racetrack should
Right.
do. Like if I raced at Stafford, if it wasn't for the 2 or 3 guys that are parked next to me, I wouldn't even know who's there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know who I race against.
That's
Where
the one
at
thing about
Riverside,
Stafford.
if
So
you-
I've always said that about Stafford, and that's
I mean,
You know-
Waterford kind of used to have the front row with all the SKs, and
I always thought Waterford was more of a family track. To me, even when you first came down, I was bullshitting with you. You know,
not at first. You kind of looked at me kind of.
Well-
I was the outsider.
What's
well,
this-
no, but
what's
I-
this
but I-
Stafford
I
guy
was.
doing
I-
here?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, it was like when I went to Stafford, ran my open car. I stayed in my own spot. I swear, nobody
'Cause
talked to
people
me.
don't. People,
Nobody talked to
you
me. I'm
don't
like,
even
damn.
know who your other people are. So at
Yeah.
Riverside, you come down at the end of the night, pits would open, all the fans would come down, your trailer would open up, everybody had their picnic set up. Like that's what you did. Nobody left.
Right,
The pit area was full after.
right,
It's just different. Where Stafford, I mean, as soon as the races are over, people are gone.
right.
It's just kind of different.